Here we go. Okay.
Well, what I want to talk to you about this session this morning is particular questions that the disciples asked Jesus. It was during the Passion Week, and sometime during that week they had been inside the temple, and now they had come out. And as they stood outside the temple, the disciples began to point out the magnificent structure of Herod's temple. And when they did that, Jesus did something that really shocked them. He made this kind of statement: "Do you not see all these things? Truly I say to you, not one stone here shall be left upon another, which will not be torn down." What a shocking statement that was. And so later on, possibly in the evening, at the Mount of Olives, Peter, James, and John, one account says, and Andrew came to Jesus, still pondering the statement that Jesus made previously that day. And they said, "Tell us, when will these things be?" Because he had said that every stone would be taken off of this structure. And that was a shocking thing. It was an immense building. "And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" So they had a time question on their mind. So I want to talk to you about this question. What time is it? It seems like from the beginning that man was concerned with that question. What time was it? And he could look up in the sky and he could see the position of the sun, and he would know approximately what time of day it was. And then as time developed, as time went on, someone come up with the idea of an instrument that would cast a shadow. And this is commonly called the sundial. And they could more accurately determine the time of the day. And then, as time went by, someone got the idea of an object, maybe a stone that was hollowed out, or a clay bowl, something of that nature, and they put a hole in the bottom of it, and they filled it with water, and they timed on how long it took for the water to get out of the bowl. And that became a very accurate timepiece, and it lasted for centuries that way, up until in around the 14th century, someone came up with an idea of what is called a pendulum clock. It was a rod hanging down with a weight on the end of it, and the rod was connected to a set of gears, and then a hand was connected to the gears, and now we have what is called the clock. Actually, the word clock means bell, and so they had put in something that would ring the time, such as an hour or such as whatever they wanted to set it. And so it was known as the bell clock, and known in history as a pendulum clock. And people that way could more accurately tell the time. And that has progressed into what we have today. We have clocks that can set on your desk, and clocks that are placed on the wall. We wear clocks around our wrist, and we have pocket watches that we can carry with us. We have signboards that have clocks in front of banks. We have clocks and temperature gauges, all of this, because it is so important to us to know what time it is. Now, I want to direct you to Matthew 24 as we began this morning. And I would like to begin with verse 3. And the disciples were at the Mount of Olives. They asked this question, when will these things be? They wanted to know the time. And what will be the sign of your coming? He had already told them that he was going to come back again. And what is the sign of the end of this day, or the salvation age? So Jesus began to progressively answer those particular questions about the time. And he said, see to it that no one misleads you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, the Anointed One, and will mislead many. So false Christ, he warned them about, was coming in the near future. And you will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not frightened. Don't be disturbed by that. For those things must take place. You cannot alter that. But he said, the end is not yet. He said, nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. In various places there would be famines and earthquakes. Otherwise, he's saying natural disasters would also come. But these are only the beginning of the trials and the troubles of this particular day he was talking about. And he said they're going to deliver you up and a great tribulation would come. Many will come to kill the believers. You're going to be hated by all nations on account of my name. And at that time many will fall away and will deliver up one another and hate one another, and false prophets would arise and mislead many, and there would be anarchy, lawlessness, and the love would grow cold, and consequently the conscience would be hardened. And he said, the one that is going to endure is the one that is going to be saved. Endure to the end, he said. That's the one that is going to be saved. And then he caps it off with this statement, this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all the nations. Then the end would come. Actually, in these 14 verses, he covered the entire age of salvation. It would begin with false Christ, and it would be followed up with a lot of wars and rumors of wars and famines and earthquakes and the threat of your life. And all of these things would be in existence, but hold on, you're going to have to endure to the end, because if you do, you're going to be saved. He said these things must take place. Then in verse 15, he begins to talk about a specific time in history. He said, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, this abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, as Daniel's already mentioned, and he said that we should understand what is going to happen. So I want to explain more about the abomination of desolation, and a more detailed account is found in Luke 21. And if you would like to turn there, and we'll begin to take excerpts from this particular chapter. But abomination, the word itself, means something to be abhorred or loathed. And it said it would be standing in the temple. What was he talking about? I believe that he was talking about the standard